Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, I hope everybody's having a beautiful day or a beautiful night, wherever you guys are out there in the world. I think that at this current moment in time, as we really address the major change happening to our financial system, I think it's no surprise, right? Like, everyone is aware of this. We know that's going to take some time, but during that time, while we wait for the big revolution to happen, we can still take our profits from this market, reinvest them into, major assets like, for example, XRP, and just wait for the big move. And when I say the big move, we're talking about once everything is in place. All the pieces are coming together right now as we are aware of this. We've been talking about it for a while, and of course, talk is cheap, but we've also seen action on that front line, right? We've seen the major individuals and the organizations like the DTCC, the IMF, the BIS, the World Bank, all of these massive organizations that are elite ran are all coming together and telling you their plans. They're literally telling you their plans, and DLT and blockchain is at the forefront of that. Now, there has been some bombs dropped over on X. First and foremost, we have this video that got posted by 801_XRP. Now, I'm not going to play this video because it is 13 minutes long. I highly suggest everyone go and check out this video. But we do see here, listen closely. They tell you what they're working with, testing out, and what it's going to look like. This is from Jennifer O'Rourke from the DTCC, Federico Grinberg from the IMF, and Tom Schack from Swift. Even the moderator, there's one understanding of interoperability. It's that there's going to be a common platform of some sort that everyone's going to operate on and build upon, and another understanding of people are people are going to be working on different platforms, and how we build bridges across those platforms is what interoperability is about. Now, again, as we really kind of look at interoperability, there's a few players that come to mind, right? We've talked about Chainlink, we've talked about Quant with Overledger, but then there's also the Interledger Protocol, which directly ties in with XRP as well. There's a few great areas of opportunity around interoperability, but we also know that XRP does serve a crucial purpose and role here. Being that decentralized bridge currency to really kind of bridge anything of value is a very significant piece of the puzzle, in my opinion. And I do think that that's why we do see XRP mentioned on many of the major PDF files from a lot of these elite organizations, like even the IMF, for example. But also, there was a great video that got posted from this discussion as well by 801_XRP, and that was this one. So we see Ethereum is the clear winner because it's being named in all the docs. Listen to Tony McLaughlin from Citibank. Anything on Ethereum, you gotta pay gas for. The gas gets paid to validator. A regulator firm cannot pay gas fees to sanctioned entities. Check this out. This is 40 seconds long.
Tony. I think a good question is, what would need to be true to enable regulated institutions to use public permissionless blockchains? At the moment, they don't pass what's known as third-party risk management. Just a very concrete example quickly is anything on Ethereum you've got to pay gas for. The gas gets paid to validators. A regulated firm cannot pay gas fees to sanctioned entities. So the public permissionless blockchains are out at the moment. What would need to be true in order to enable regulated institutions to occupy that space and use those networks?
Tom. It's always difficult.
And, this is something that is very significant because everyone always says that Ethereum is the chosen one. Ethereum is this, Ethereum is that, simply because it's just the number 2 largest asset in the space. You got to remember, right, that this space is still very well 100% speculation. Like, utility does not matter right now. But the reason why Ethereum is as large as Ethereum actually is simply because of the retail demand for, for an example, like NFTs. And also, yes, the transactional fees in terms of gas is so significant that it does boast a lot of value being transacted on Ethereum every single day. But the thing is that, Citibank and these large institutions, they're not going to be utilizing Ethereum. And even, within this, we hear a little bit of a discussion on permissionless and permissioned chains. Remember what I've talked about even with like Casper, right? The reason why I love Casper is because of the upgradable smart contracts, but also because Casper is a hybrid model. Those hybrid models are crucial because right now, even with XRP and the XRP ledger, for an example, Ripple is providing private XRP ledger technology. That's because the XRP ledger is not a hybrid model, but that's okay because again, the private or even the public XRP ledger technology could still tap into XRP technically. But again, this is why Ethereum is not going to be utilized the way everyone assumes it to be, even though it is the number 2 largest asset. That's why Ethereum will be flipped, just like Bitcoin eventually will be also flipped by something. But also over here, we do see from XRP drops, every bank will end up having its own chain and even multiple chains and their own stablecoin. Check out this post. This is from Chainlink, actually.
Every bank will end up having its own chain and even multiple chains and their own stablecoin. And so all of the banks are now looking at making stablecoins and making their own chains because it's a very basic transactional kind of primitive that everyone will need to transact around their specific bank's activity and that they will need to purchase assets from other places.
So as we really kind of look at a lot of these banks, we're starting to kind of see this already. Actually, it's funny that Citibank is saying this because Citibank is looking into actually having their own deposit token. JP Morgan has JPM coin. All of these banks will soon have, their own chain, their own currencies, aka stablecoins. And what's significant about this is, again, you still need something to bridge all of this. You still need something that is allowing any of these currencies to transact. And the only reason why I constantly say XRP for this is because XRP has been trialed around that use case for well over a decade. And it's the only one that can technically be trusted at this point in time to not fail because of all of the testing and the trials that were ran with XRP. But also, we do see over here from Medico, every bank wants to know how to launch their own stablecoin, 24/7, 365. Listen closely.
I think all banks are looking at this space. I'm based in Dubai right now. Every bank wants to know basically how to launch their own stablecoin, or it's a topic they're looking at very much because there's a lot of efficiencies, just the simple 24/7, 365 netting on all the time is a huge uplift from banks which aren't even mostly open the majority of the day, basically, right? So the settlement period, I think there's a lot of easy go-to-market in that one compared to launching equity, for example, on chain, which is still a long way down the road.
Now, what's significant about this is obviously we know Ripple has acquired Medico. Medico has been tapped in with HSBC and other major large banks. And what's crazy about this is I've said it 100 times now because of that video that got posted from Ripple Swell with the Medico CEO, where he said, once you have custody, you can build upon custody services. Meaning, guess what? Now that Medico is providing the custody, Ripple has an all-in-one package, everything under one umbrella. We know that Ripple launched the CBDC platform that also offers stablecoin issuance. We already know that Palau and many other players are tapped in with the XRP ledger for stablecoin initiatives as well. Just recently, I talked to you guys about how Ripple posted that article back in 2022 saying that the global stablecoin race is on. It's all happening. That's becoming a reality. And you're hearing here firsthand how every single bank wants to know how to launch a stablecoin. Because that 24/7, 365 availability and the efficiencies that are unlocked with stablecoins is very significant. But remember, every single stablecoin needs to be able to transact with one another on different networks as well. Again, XRP and what RippleNet does with XRP is so damn significant for this use case specifically. This is also why I say that custody services with Medico being tapped in, combined with the tech stack that Ripple has to offer, is very valuable to these banks because it provides every single layer that they would need in order for them to revolutionize their infrastructure. This is also why I say that Ripple's overall goal here, their plan of action on why they have been acquiring a lot of these companies and building out their overall offering, is because they want to become the future infrastructure layer for these banks. And that's what makes them very significant in this space as well. And I think that that's why everyone in this space hates on what Ripple has been doing, because for the longest time in crypto, the idea around a lot of these companies has always been, how can we replace fiat? How can we kill the banks? How can we escape the banking sector? And what Ripple thought was completely different. They were challenging the status quo of these crypto projects and companies. Instead of looking to replace, they chose the route of how can we improve and how can we bring these banks and the traditional world of finance into the future. And that is so significant to mention. And also, last but not least, the reality is there is a global framework for stablecoins. It is a global standard. This is from the CEO, Jeremy Allaire, with, of course, the Singapore FinTech Festival. Remember that we recently just seen a big update from Circle and SBI, which was a huge one. The Financial Stability Board, the body of the finance ministries of the G20 central banks, has issued a series of recommendations for stablecoin policy. Remember what I've said around the FSB. They are instructed by the G20 to bring about global regulatory frameworks regarding crypto. Their overall goal is by the end of 2025 to have these frameworks in place and working live. And also remember that the FSB does also include some very strong players on it. Gary Gensler is actually on their board. How crazy is that, considering the fact that they let Ripple comment on global crypto frameworks in December of 2022? The lawsuit is nonsense. The SEC's warpath on crypto is nonsense. They're trying to streamline regulations. They're trying to streamline this space because, again, it's all a show. The G20 adopted it. Now all the members will put them into law. There are local differences. Banking, insurance, or any other type of financial regulation, but it is a global standard. And remember, right, with those global standards, you need something like this so that you can eliminate fragmentation within the regulatory side of action. Shout out to XRP Drops for all of this. Incredible individual, by the way. Definitely go check them out over on X, but check this video out.
Jump in on that. I mean, the reality is, there is a global framework. The Financial Stability Board, which is the body of the G20 central banks, finance ministries, came up with a set of recommendations for stablecoin policy. And the G20 adopted it. And now the members of the G20, their financial ministries and regulators, are taking those globally agreed upon policy standards and putting them into law. So we actually have a framework that is global that is now being put in place. Now, are there variances here and there? There are, of course, local variances, whether it's banking regulation, insurance regulation, or any other type of financial regulation. There are variances, but it is a global standard. And there will continue to be iterations. Jump in on that. I mean,
and you know what's crazy about all of this is the significance of a lot of these discussions. Like, as we get closer and closer to full live implementation, which again, things will really kind of start to accelerate a lot faster once we do have a lot of the standardization in place and even like the regulatory frameworks. What's very interesting about this is a lot of people are distracted currently. They don't see these major these major announcements or these major discussions as well, that, by the way, I should note, are at very significant festivals. Like this Singapore FinTech Festival is one of the largest events of the year. And we just recently seen Ripple hold the Ripple Swell event in the UAE, which is becoming a crypto hub. It's a banking conference held by a crypto company. I mean, how significant is that? But these are very large events. Like the Singapore FinTech Festival had Kristalina Georgieva there from the IMF. Like the future of finance could not be any more clear to me. And honestly, it should be very clear to anyone that is looking into a lot of these videos and these events as well. Again, I understand that everyone wants to get rich off of crypto, and don't worry, in my opinion, I think that a large portion of you will. But again, one of the largest wealth drivers here is going to be those that are at the forefront, understand how early they are, and getting behind this massive revolution that is happening within our global financial system. Now, does that mean that you have to hodl your coins to oblivion? No, it absolutely does not. You could have, portions of your bags that you just don't sell. You could always take profits, and you should always take profits as well, and make sure that you are de-risking yourselves. But again, when we really kind of look at the largest play here, it's being behind this major disruption. And I don't even want to call it a disruption at this point, because it's not really disrupting anything. It's revolutionizing the way that traditional banking, traditional payments, and so many other aspects. I mean, we're talking about real estate, we're talking about, loans, funding, things like that. Everything is being revolutionized by this type of technology. And again, like, this is why it's so significant to focus on what really matters here. Like, I just made a video the other day talking about the changing scenario for global payment rails. Like, this was posted on October 24th. This post here. The necessity of strong foundations for changing global payment rails. Like, again, as we look at what's happening right now, real-time payments is a much larger focus point. FedNow launched this July. All right. FedNow is a major driver for instant payments. Now, at first, this is not going to be international. It's not international, right? It's already live. But when it does go live internationally, things are going to change quite a bit around payments. But every single major area around the world is launching real-time payments infrastructure layers, which is all utilizing open banking APIs. Like, when you look at some of these players, like this is Temenos, for an example. They are also connected back to Ripple. Like, a lot of the players that are on the FedNow service as a service provider, a lot of them are connected back to Ripple. And it doesn't guarantee us that XRP is going to be utilized, but there's a large chance that it actually is. So this year truly was a year for change, and it was something that started to accelerate this major revolution. From here on out, the major things to look at and focus on is standardization and regulations, because the next step after regulations is implementation. And I get it. Nobody wants to wait forever to get wealthy off of crypto, or, to make a ton of money. You don't have to. Like I said, there's going to be cycles in between this revolution that allows us to make money. And we need to make sure that we are taking advantage of that and, really realizing the opportunity in front of us. But I also think that long term, those that actually see the vision here are going to be extremely wealthy. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Peace out.